Welcome back, everybody. First host call of the weekend. Looking forward to, as always, answering all of our community's questions. Each and every weekend, today is going to be no different. We're going to dive right in and see what the community has to say. If you want to follow along with the questions, feel free to do so at stephencabral.com/3732. All right, first question is from Brenda. Let's see what Brenda has to say. My adult son is very interested in purchasing the GLP-1 tone system. Unfortunately, he cannot swallow pills very well, especially capsules. Can these capsules be opened up and put in water and still be effective? Great question, and the answer is yes. Almost all vitamins and minerals and herbs can be taken out of the capsules and put in just water, or if needed, a little bit of food. Applesauce, sometimes we do for kids, organic, of course, a little bit of cranberry juice, which is lower glycemic index, if it's more bitter. So, for example, B vitamins are going to be more bitter, right? So they typically, you take them as a capsule. Some of these are meant to be taken in capsules, not the ones that we're talking about right now, but always look in the back and say, is it a DR cap, digestive resistant cap, like our daily probiotic support? Ideally, that is taken inside the capsule, but if not, you can just take a probiotic in water and no problem. Like you can still do that as well. Many of them do survive the stomach acid, and if you take it away from food, even easier. So GLP-1 tone, not a problem. It's the GLP-1 A+ probiotic. That's the Akkermansia with the other 5 strains. You take that one upon waking, really easy. And then the GLP-1 tone, you literally take just at each meal or just at one time. No problem at all. And yes, you can just mix them in water. Easy. All right. If you don't know what GLP-1 tone is, you can just check it out over on EcoLife's website. It is the only product that we know of with the exact dosages and research to double your own natural GLP-1 tone production. No injections, no pharmaceuticals, just results. That's what we're working with. And again, you can just check it out, stephencabral.com/shop. That's where everything is, all the labs, all the products, everything we use that takes you over to EcoLife. All right. Stephanie's up next. Stephanie says, hi, Dr. Cabral. I'm currently on a certain medication called Plaquenil for my autoimmune that I would eventually like to come off of. I really want to do the limited CBO protocol, which I tested for with the health coach about a year ago, but wasn't able to do the protocol right yet. Since I'm on this medication right now, I'm unable to do the citruscyl drops due to the grapefruit. How else would you recommend me doing the limited CBO? Are there other alternatives to the GSE that I can do to try and heal my gut to get one more step closer to putting my autoimmune in remission and getting off this medication? Thanks for all your help. Longtime listener. Always happy to help, Stephanie. So, and the nice thing is this, you can ask me. I'm happy to answer your question, right? But you can also just ask our health coaches or CabralSupportGroup.com. They'll give you the same answer that I will. And that's, you don't need to use citruscyl. Citruscyl is a grapefruit seed extract, right? There's actually no grapefruit left, but just as a precaution, we don't use it for people on statins or other drugs that it might interact with. But that's okay. So all we do is use the CBO protocol without the citruscyl or the limited CBO protocol, which is the GI balance that has oregano, thyme, cloves, and then the biofilm disruptor called Florafilm, and the Saccharomyces boulardii, or you might be using Clean Gut Probiotic. So you just follow the protocol. Don't use the citruscyl. You'll still get great results. That's just one of the heavy hitters that we add. And then after that, you'll do the CBO finisher. Really important. Using that probiotic support and using the healthy gut support to heal and seal the gut wall. Do that for 3 months. That is my recommendation. Of course, with your daily foundational protocol, your healthy eating, that's the way to do it. And with an autoimmune issue, of course, we're looking at doing a heavy metal detox, functional medicine detox, clean out the body, read the rain barrel effect, and then put it to work, put it into action. All right. If you haven't read the rain barrel effect, got a free copy waiting for you. It's just at stephencabral.com/free book. You just pay shipping and handling. That's it. So I pay to print the book. You just pay for the shipping. I hope it's a fair deal. You get it. Of course, if you don't want to do it that way, no problem. It's on Amazon. It's all over the place. So you're welcome to do that as well. All right. Thank you, Stephanie. Trish is up next. Hi, Dr. Cabral. I love starting my day 7 days a week with you. Oh, thank you, Tricia. I appreciate that. Sorry that I couldn't read it properly. Please work forever. Well, thank you again. I plan to work forever, God willing. So we just gotta work together, right? I always say this is like, I'll do my end, right? I'm going to put in the work, and then I'm going to pray for a long life. That's basically how I look at it. And I love the term Ayubowan from Ayurvedic medicine. I wish everyone a long life, and Ayubowan, that's what it means. So wishing you a long life, a long, happy life. Anyway, that's that. So thank you, Trisha. You're talking about, this is regarding podcast 3693, when you spoke about the 2 nutrients needed for cancer defense on the protein called P53. My question is about melatonin. I sleep fairly well for a 56-year-old postmenopausal woman. How much melatonin should I start with? And can you mention the risks? I know not all supplements are good for everyone. I have heard wonderful things about melatonin and cancer. On the downside, I read if you take melatonin, your body will stop producing it faster on its own. Is that true? Should I wait until I'm 70 to start? I'm going to start Adrenal Soothe too. I feel at my age, without the balance of estrogen and progesterone, we need more adrenal support. Any advice is appreciated. Okay, well, yeah, I agree with you, kind of like all across the board, except you were just given improper information on melatonin. Melatonin is not like a hormone replacement therapy where your body stops producing it, such as, like, we'll say testosterone, right, for men. So melatonin is produced every day by the pineal gland, but it drops by about 10% per decade after your 20s. So 30s, 10% lower than your 20s. 40s, 20% lower. 50s, 30% lower. 60s, 40% lower. 70s, at least 50% lower. By the time you get to your 70s, it is said that you are making no more than 20 to 30% of what you were making for melatonin back in your early 20s. So it actually, and I should have done 10% earlier in your 20s, you start to decrease. So that is why we use melatonin for people that need it. How do you know if you need it? How do you know if you're getting the right amount? Do you fall asleep within 20 minutes of your head hitting the pillow? That's question number 1. 2, do you stay asleep? So that's question number 2. Number 3, track it. Use an Oura Ring. It's way better. Again, like, I don't get paid by Oura Ring. It's just way better at tracking sleep than Whoop Strap. It just is. And Whoop Strap gets better. They over-exaggerate deep sleep. They tell you get like 2.5 hours of deep sleep. It's not true. So Oura Ring will tell you if you're getting 75 to 90 minutes of deep, and it will tell you if you're getting more than 2 hours of REM. If you're not getting those, you'll supplement, and you'll go for probably somewhere between 1 milligram to 5 milligrams for most individuals. As you get older, you might need a little bit more. For cancer support, you might do a little bit more. But again, I'm not providing medical advice, medical treatments, medical cures, medical diagnosis. All right. So every night I use 2 to 3 milligrams. On nights where I need more, I use 5. And I like it because acts as a powerful antioxidant, anti-cancer-based nutrient, helps the repair process, lowers excitatory neurotransmitters and cortisol. So I'm a big fan, but of course, I don't overdo it, right? I don't do mega doses. I don't do 20 milligrams a night. I don't do 40 milligrams a night. I'm using a small amount. That's it. And I do it based on literally tracking my sleep now for 20 years. Way before all of these amazing devices, there were still other devices you could track it with that weren't as accurate, but again, you can also go by symptoms as well. All right, Darren's up next. Darren says, good day, Dr. Cabral. I'm seeing an increase of naturopaths saying a teaspoon of unmodified potato starch nightly leads to an increase in butyrate, which then improves intestinal barrier integrity, lower inflammatory signaling, enhancing insulin responsiveness, and influences metabolic and immune pathways throughout the body. They say the resistant starch consumption improves glucose metabolism, reduces inflammatory markers, helps with biodiversity in the gut, metabolic health, taking it nightly, further supports these effects by aligning the gut bacteria. Get it, understood. And then you ask, do you agree or is it hogwash? No, it's not that I disagree. I just think it's unnecessary unless you need it, right? Like, that's the thing, is like, it is a supplement, right? You're supplementing with unmodified, meaning like non-GMO potato starch. Okay, well, let's just talk about this for a moment. Potato starch can come from cold oatmeal, green bananas, cold pasta, cold rice. All of those help with the resistant starch, or raw potatoes or potato starch, just like you're saying. The problem is like, most people don't need it. If you need it, then you can take it. You can actually test your butyrate levels and other levels by running, to a lower degree, the Candida metabolic and vitamins test, or to a very specific degree, the bacterium parasite stool test. Those are at stephencabral.com/shop. Again, that just takes you over to EqualLife. And then you can see for sure, if you're good and your immune system's good, then you don't need this. Like that's not, there is no silver bullet. There is no silver bullet. And again, if you don't need it, you don't take it. That's how I look at it. All right. So it's not foundational. Let me get back to that. Foundational things, omega-3s, vitamin D3, a good activated multi, whether it's in your daily nutritional support or your capsules. Those are foundational. Your body needs those every day. I would even say a little bit added vitamin C, foundational, right? If you're going through stress or immune-based issues, probably a little extra zinc, right? So it's like all of those are foundational to the body. Potato starch is not. So I'll just leave it at that. If you're eating a diverse diet like I talk about, 7 to 9 servings of fruits and veggies every day, some beans, legumes in your diet, your gut microbiome is balanced, because this isn't going to balance your gut microbiome. It's just not. Like, it's not going to I want to put that, say that straight up front. It will not balance your gut microbiome, potato starch. It will feed proper gut bacteria if it's there, right? So first, fix the gut bacteria by doing the CBO protocol if it's imbalanced. And then again, if you want to add potato starch, who am I to say don't have some potato starch? If you want to, then go for it. While you're at it, have a clove of garlic too. Crush it, swallow a clove of garlic out while you're at it. That's very helpful as well for your immune system, insulin, and a prebiotic. All right. Good question though, Darren. Oh, looks like Darren's up again. Hey, Dr. Cabral, me again. I've seen several renowned biohackers and trainers say it's a falsehood that once you start TRT, you've to continue it using it for life. They say if you happen to be the 1% of men over 35 who TRT is not for exceedingly rare reasons, you simply desist, and within a few months, your body will have returned to its natural testosterone production levels pre-treatment. Some basic precautions while you are experimenting with TRT will help you recover quicker should you choose to stop your treatment. But even then, those who do the sloppiest TRT recover quite quickly, even if they don't use traditional post-cycle therapy. Is this based on new info or is it hogwash? Okay, I love the last line. So, as we talk about in Personomics, not everything is so simple. Men, maybe that's what they say about 35, over 35, who TRT is not for. I don't even understand what that means. Men over 35 shouldn't be using TRT. Like, we shouldn't have the TRT discussion until 55. I honestly believe that. Unless you're part of the 1%, not the 99%, where there is a condition that we need it for. But here's why. I have a couple podcasts coming up on TRT. Men are being told to take this willy-nilly, and it shouldn't be looked at that at all. Because if there's a reason that you really have low testosterone in your 30s or 40s, that's unnatural. I want to repeat that again. It is unnatural to have low testosterone in your 30s to 40s. You should still be very brilliant. You should have strong vitality. If you don't just take TRT without fixing the underlying root cause. The underlying root cause is, and I have whole shows on this, but I'm going to do more podcasts as well. Sleep, stress, nutrient deficiency, certain toxicities. Like, all of those are extremely important. HPA axis, HPT axis, HPG axis. Like, all of those need to be corrected. If not, what are you doing? You're literally adding fuel to the fire. You're pretending, you're using a Band-Aid approach. Now, it's not the patient's fault. The doctors are just making like $500 per month per patient on this. So of course they see it very easy. Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna write you a prescription for it. Oh, you tested low testosterone. What does it even mean? Are you below 300, right, for total testosterone? Have you tested your free testosterone? Are you looking at cortisol function? Like, again, I don't think doctors should be allowed to do this without having the conversation. It's like going on statins without having the conversation. Like, what's nutrition look like? What does exercise look like? What is, like, all those things? Anyway, I'm getting a little bit off topic. Some men under the age of, let's call it 50 or so, 55, will rebound within 2 to 3 months. That is true. That is true. However, many men, it takes 6 to 12 months, and some men, it takes a full 2 years, if ever. That is what the actual research shows. So, anybody saying that you can just come off, no. Especially, I'm making this whole podcast about TRT, but it's a crime that's being committed to especially men right now. It is a crime, and some women. Here's why. It's not just boosting your physique, it's boosting your mind. Many men become depressed when they come off testosterone. No one ever talks about that. I don't love what I see going on in the industry right now. I don't love it. I really don't. I'm going to keep it at that. Yes, many men rebound in 2 to 3 months. More so 6 to 12, especially the older you get. Some, they don't. I'll keep it at that. Great question. I hate to end on a somber note, but here's the thing. If you have lower testosterone, you're in your 30s, 40s, even 50s, find out why. Because it can lead to heart disease issues, mental health issues, if you don't correct the underlying root cause that going on, TRT does not correct. TRT raises your levels artificially, but it does not fix the inflammation, sleep, input, output, all like literally nervous system-based function. Heavy metals, let's fix those. All right, I'm gonna keep it at that. Thanks so much. I'm gonna be back tomorrow answering more of our community's questions, and it will be on a much more chipper and happy note. All right, take care, everybody.